Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Progress with number 4 in the series Viewer Games. This one is from Syria, from Ayman, and he says, from the country of war, chess is a game of war, but it is far more rational and wise than the actual one. Stay in peace. Thank you Ayman, and we hope peace for your country soon as well. Let's look at your chess game. Ayman played black against Ustabild. It was a rapid game, time control was 30 minutes and it was played on the chess.com server. Ustabild played e4 and Ayman played a Sicilian. He said, "This is Ayman from Syria, I'm a chess beginner, I started just 2 years ago. Your help is needed to evaluate my game and tell me if I'm going to improve in chess soon." And he said, I played black and I used to play the French defense against e4 in the past. That is so passive that I decided to transpose to the Sicilian. The Sicilian is indeed a more open opening. Ustabild played knight c3, d6, bishop b5 check and bishop d7. Here the main move is taking on d7, and in this case Ayman played bishop c4. As a rule of thumb, it is better to avoid playing with the same piece twice in the opening. Of course, taking on d7 is also playing twice, but at least then black does not win time. In this case the bishop could have gone to c4 in one move, so white has lost a tempo, as we call it. Nothing serious, but in general it's wise to not play with the same piece in the opening, if you can avoid it. Knight f6, knight ge2, knight c6, d4, c takes, knight takes, e6, bishop g5, pinning the knight, and Ayman played bishop e7 to deal with that pin. Bishop b3, going out of the way of possible pieces that want to attack that bishop. a6, both players castled, and rook e1. So far both players have developed their pieces, put a king safe, made very logical moves, and the position is about equal. h6, kicking the bishop, bishop went to h4, knight takes d4, queen takes, and e5. Kicking the queen, but leaving a hole on d5, but it's all very playable. Queen went back to d3, bishop c6, improving the bishop. The bishop has a nice diagonal now. And here Ustabild took on f6. He wants control over the d5 square, and that knight was defending the d5 square, and that's why he took here. Bishop takes, and here white could have put his bishop on d5, which is very similar to the Bobby Fischer against Gadia game that I analyzed on this channel. It's video number 16 on the channel, the first installment of Learn from the Classics, and Fischer played in a very similar position, bishop d5, to trade it against the bishop on c6 and get total control over d5 with his knight. That would have been an option, but knight d5 as Ustabild plays is also perfectly okay. Ayman decides to take, and by the way, he commented that 16 knight d5 was good for black. I slightly disagree. I think it was an okay move, nothing wrong with it. And bishop takes d5 from Ustabild. Rook b8, defending the pawn, b3, queen c7, and c4. White is comfortable. As I explained in the Fischer-Gadia game, it's white who plays with an extra piece, on the queen side at the moment because the bishop on f6 is not helping out on the queen side. So white can try and develop something on the queen side. Rook fc8, g3, b5, and now this is an important moment. Here white decides to play f4, and that is a bad move for several reasons. As said, it's a lot more logical to play on the queen side for white, and the move f4 does not correspond with that. As Ayman says, f4 is a mistake from white and very weakening to their king side. And that is indeed another reason why f4 is not good. It weakens the king side, and on top of that it brings the bishop on f6 to life, as we will see. So a poor move. What white should have done is just improve his rooks, maybe rook e to d1 or rook a to c1, and he has a pleasant little advantage. Okay, f4 was played. Ayman took on c4, bishop takes back, and now he takes on f4. For starters, it wins a pawn because the bishop on f6 is now attacking the rook on a1. So white has to play the rook, rook a d1, and then Ayman took on g3. H takes g3, and let's have a look at this position. Black has won a pawn, the bishop on f6 has come to life, and there's nothing left of white's initiative on the queen side. After h takes g3, black played rook b6, and here white should have played the sensible move king g2, and we'll see in a minute why that would have been a good move. Instead he took the pawn on a6. He thought he's winning that pawn back and at least restore the material balance, but it doesn't work. It's not a good move. Also Ayman commented on this move that it was not the right move to play. The strongest move here is queen a7 with a nasty discovered check threat from the queen on a7 to the king on g1. The best thing to do here, according to the engine, is for white to take on c8, take a full rook there. But of course he's losing his queen after rook takes b3, check, and attacking the queen. To continue the variation from the engine, king h1, rook takes queen, rook takes rook, and then the a2 pawn falls, the d6 pawn falls, and even though material is not so bad for white, this is a very bad position. Black, for example, has queen a3, forking the g pawn and the rook. If you save the rook by rook e d1, white takes on g3, and his king is so unsafe that this is a winning position for black. So all that after queen a7, following white taking the pawn on a6. But here Ayman played rook a8, attacking the bishop. And here white decided after 26 seconds, so he didn't think about it for a long time, to play the in-between move rook c1, attacking the queen. And that is a very bad move. He should have played the bishop back, for example, to c4. And then, yes, black can win a pawn on a2, but white can still fight. After rook c1, white had missed the very strong move queen a7. And that's why I said it would have made sense for white to play the king to g2, so that this was not an option. So that threat of a discovered check is very strong, and of course the bishop is also hanging. King f1 from white, and Ayman took the bishop, is now a full piece up. a4, bishop e5, activating that bishop even more. King g2, protecting the pawn. Rook b6. Queen d5. Rook a b8. Black plays all very good moves. Ayman said he's a beginner. Well, he plays a lot stronger than a beginner. He's probably a great talent. Rook b1. Rook b4. Rook f1. Maybe hoping for some threat against f7, which at the moment of course is protected by the queen on a7. Rook d4, kicking the queen. Queen went to c6. And here there is a forced checkmate, starting with rook d2 check. But I really like Ayman's move, queen b7. It forces a queen trade, and black is still that piece up. So trading queens here is very advantageous for black, and a much more sensible move than going into a checkmating attack. And there could be a flaw in it. It could be not checkmate, it could cost you material. So queen b7 is the sensible way to play. Well done, Ayman. Queens were swapped. Queen takes, rook fe1, rook d3, rook e d1, and there goes another pawn. King f2, and there goes another pawn. And after rook takes, white resigned. Ayman said, "I've made use of my opponent's mistakes, and after the game I saw a shorter finish. I blundered that." Well, as I said, I don't think that was a blunder at all. That was a mate in 10 combination that is, for an engine, is easy to see, but for a human it isn't. You played the sensible move, swapping the queens in a winning position. There's nothing wrong with that. So from the country that is stuck in a terrible war, Syria, this game from Ayman, who beat his opponent Ustabild in a rapid game. Hope you enjoyed the analysis, hope you found it instructive, hope you learned something. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and I'm looking forward to your comments. You also may want to check my Chess to Impress channel. There's a lot of material there as well for you to watch. This is Rick from Chess to Progress. Thank you for watching.